I'm Rantasmo, and designing women needs more gay. Today we're going to talk about a very serious issue that affects all of us. I'm speaking, of course, about female sassiness. Not to be confused with gay male sassiness, i.e. sassy gay friends.
What are you doing?
Female sassiness is nonetheless a key point within the culture of gay men. Nearly all of the most popular gay icons have been sassy women in some respect.
I know you love aerobics. It stretches every muscle in your body.
Honey, I've been stretching this body for years.
Blanche, sticking your feet out of the sunroof of a Chrysler New Yorker doesn't count.
If it's used carelessly, the archetype of the sassy woman can come across as little more than a reductive stereotype. But I also think it's an archetype with some value. Making a character sassy, by which I mainly mean someone who uses wit and snark as a means with which to take no guff, is an easy and effective, if overused, technique for lending them a degree of power, even if, socially speaking, they have historically lacked power. That's one of the reasons this trope is typically applied to women, particularly women of color, of size, or of an age older than 40. It's also why sassiness and sassy women tend to have such strong appeal for gay men. Characters who use wit, humor, and shoulder pads of death to battle against the expectations of society have long functioned as role models for those of us who feel the most vulnerable, especially those living in areas where they feel threatened just for being who they are. Which brings us to the South, and specifically Georgia, which has perhaps the sassiest official state song ever written. The American South has never had a great reputation for being gay-friendly, but things are gradually improving. And there are pocket areas where LGBT people can enjoy a modicum of acceptance. One of these areas is the surprisingly progressive metropolis of Atlanta, Georgia, which has the third largest LGBT population in the country, and according to the app Growler, the largest population of bears. I've sometimes heard Designing Women, which is set in Atlanta, referred to as the poor man's Golden Girls. And while that is not inaccurate, it also produced some of the most iconic moments in the history of gay culture.
Is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
The premise is simple enough: a sitcom about an interior design firm, consisting of an outspoken liberal, her vain, spoiled sister, a naive optimist, and Annie Potts, which is to say Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Annie Potts. And also the guy who played Hollywood Montrose from Mannequin, except this time he's straight. The ladies of Sugar Baker and Associates and their straight friend who is totally straight fulfilled a very important role, demonstrating to the rest of the country that Southerners could in fact be very liberal. Some of the issues that Designing Women tackled could have been pulled straight from the echelons of Tumblr: feminism, fat acceptance, and in one very memorable episode, AIDS and homophobia.
As far as I'm concerned, this disease has one thing going for it. It's killing all the right people.
Gene, I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to have to ask you to move your car.
Why?
Because you're leaving.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the only thing worse than all these people who never had any morals before AIDS are all you holier-than-thou types who think you're exempt from getting it.
I deeply regret that Julia Sugarbaker is not in charge of conversations on the internet. Goku69, I'm terribly sorry. I'm gonna have to ask you to move your car. Dixie Carter's portrayal of Julia Sugarbaker more or less made Designing Women what it was. I'd even go so far as to say that she was the reason to watch the show. Dixie was actually quite conservative in real life, albeit an advocate for gay rights. So it's a bit ironic that her character ended up being such a strong, powerful role model for those interested in feminism and liberal politics.
I am sick and tired of being made to feel that if I am not a member of a little family with 2.4 children who goes just to Jerry Falwell's church and puts their hands over their hearts every morning, that I am unreligious, unpatriotic, and un-American, because I have news for you, Mr. Briquette. All liberals are not kooks any more than all conservatives are fascists.
She spoke her mind, she had no tolerance for ignorance, ignorance, and she was just really gratifying to listen to. Sassiness was not merely a coping mechanism for Julia Sugarbaker. It was a weapon of mass destruction.
And that, Marjorie, just so you will know.
If you know all of the words in this monologue, then you are a gay man. You just are. Hope that's not a shock for anyone. I think it's a little sad that this show isn't more popular. Its legacy is strong, but it's also fairly small. It deserves more love. We are in dire need of a Designing Women fandom resurgence. We need animated GIFs on Tumblr, fan art where the characters are all gritty superheroes, annual conventions in hotels where everyone dresses up in 80s power dresses, and most of all, we need fan-made music videos set to early 2000s alt metal. And let it never be said that I don't give people what they need.